Hello students, now we are going to learn about maintenance of pregnancy and embryonic development. Last class we have learned about implantation, isn't it? So after implantation, so what are all the events going on in the fetal development? Okay, so that only we are going to see about maintenance of pregnancy. Okay, so here immediately after the implantation, okay, so here the inner cell mass of the blastula, that is blastocyst, it get differentiated into two structures, that is epiblast and hypoblast. So here in the case of epiblast, so later this differentiated epiblast develop into embryonic ectoderm and the hypoblast get developed into embryonic endoderm. So there are some cells found between epiblast and hypoblast. That cell form the mesoderm of the embryo. So thus here the blastula, so that get transformed into gastrula. So actually the gastrula is a structure which possesses three germ layers. Those three germ layers are called as primary germ layers. So what are the three germ layers are? Ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Okay. So that process, the formation of gastrula from blastocyst or blastula is called as gastrulation. So during gastrulation, the inner cell mass of the blastula forms three germ layers and transformed into gastrula. That process is called as gastrulation. The next process carried out, that is called as organogenesis. So during organogenesis, from each germ layer, the cells of each germ layer give rise to specific tissues, organs and organ systems. So that process is called as organogenesis. So next we are going to see about, so that thus the embryo started to develop organ systems. Okay. So at that time, so the embryo has to protect. Okay. So here in order to protect the embryo, it produces extraembryonic membrane. So embryo is protected by certain membranes, that is called as extraembryonic membrane. So what are the functions of these extraembryonic membranes are? So it protects the embryo from desiccation, mechanical shock and also helps to absorb the nutrients and for the exchange of gases. So these are the functions of extraembryonic membrane. Okay, so what are the different types of extraembryonic membranes are? So they are amnion, yolk sac, allantois and chorion. So these four together forms the extraembryonic membranes. So now we are going to see about their location and its function. So first one, amnion. So amnion is a double layered translucent membrane. Okay, and this membrane is lie closer to the embryo and there is a gap between this amnion and the embryo. So that gap is filled by fluid that is called as amniotic fluid. See here the blue color. So this is a human embryo. So this blue color layer, this is double layered, no? So this is called as amnion. Okay, it is closer to the embryo. This is embryo and this space is filled by the fluid. That fluid is called as amniotic fluid. Okay, so what are the functions of these amniotic fluid? Amnion is mainly the amniotic fluid provides buoyant environment. Buoyant means floating. It makes the embryo to float in its fluid. So thus it protects the developing embryo from injury. And also it regulates the temperature of fetus. In addition to that, it provides medium for the movement of fetus. So the fetus will freely move inside mother's womb because of this amniotic fluid. So next membrane is yolk sac. So actually yolk sac is a part of the gut. Yolk sac is the earliest source for blood cells and blood vessels. The blood cells and blood vessels of the fetus are arised or formed from this yolk sac. Okay. So next extraembryonic membrane is allantois. So allantois, it forms a small outpacketing of embryonic tissue and at the caudal end of the yolk sac. So see this picture. So this is yolk sac. So in the case, so this is a embryo of chick. This is the chick embryo and this is human embryo. So in the chick embryo, as it is as the development is outside the body of mother, so it possesses the yolk. But in the case of human being, the human embryo possesses yolk sac, but there is no yolk. Okay. So here, so this is yolk sac. So here from the yolk sac only, the earliest blood cells and blood vessels arise. And near to that, this is the caudal region of yolk sac. So near at this caudal end, the allantois, this green color is the allantois. So okay, this allantois arises as the outpacking of the embryonic tissue at the caudal end of the yolk sac. Okay, so these two tissues together forms the umbilical cord. Okay, so this allantois is the structural base for the umbilical cord. Okay, this what is the purpose of this umbilical cord is it links the embryo to the placenta. Okay, so this umbilical cord connects the embryo and the placenta. Okay, and at last, it forms a part of urinary bladder of fetus. And the next extraembryonic membrane is chorion, which is the outermost membrane, and it covers all other membrane along with the embryo. It also covers all other extraembryonic membrane. The main function of this chorion is it helps in the formation of placenta. See? So the outermost, the pink color. So this is the outermost membrane, which is called as chorion. So chorion is the outermost membrane, extraembryonic membrane. It encloses all other embryonic membrane, that is amnion, yolk sac, allantois. Along with the embryo, it encloses and also it helps in the formation of placenta. So next we are going to see about how this chorion helps in the formation of placenta. So here we are going to see about the chorion. So already we learned about the blastocyst, the outer flattened cell, that is called as trophoblast cells. Okay, this trophoblast cells gives out several finger-like projection. That finger-like projection is called as chorionic villi. And this chorionic villi, what is the function of this chorionic villi? Means it carries fetal blood. And this is surrounded by, this chorionic villi is surrounded by sinuses. That is, sinuses means the cavity, the space. Okay, this space contains the maternal blood. So if you see this picture, you can understand. So actually, these are the chorionic villi. This is the chorionic villi. So it gets embedded inside the endometrium of the uterus. This is endometrium of the uterus. Here this is the maternal blood vessel. And here this maternal blood vessel passes through this. Okay, this is actually the cavity, sinuses. So this sinuses contain maternal blood and this is the chorionic villi. It contains fetal blood. Okay. So as these blood are contact with each other, there will be exchange of material occur. So this chorionic villi and uterine, the uterine tissues form a disc-shaped structure that is called as placenta. Okay, now we are going to see about what is meant by placenta. So actually, placenta, it is formed only during pregnancy. So at that time, there won't be no placental formation. Only at the time of pregnancy only placenta will form and it acts as a temporary endocrine gland. So like corpus luteum in the ovary. Okay. Here placenta acts as a temporary endocrine gland. Okay. So what is the main function? So what is the main function of this placenta? Means it connects the fetus to the uterine wall through umbilical cord. Okay. So this placenta connects the fetus and the uterine wall. So how the fetus connects with this placenta means by means of umbilical cord. Okay. So what is the main function of this placenta? What is the necessary of placenta? Okay. What is the need of this placenta? So this placenta fulfill the nutritive, respiratory and excretory function of developing embryo. So the developing embryo do all these functions. It need nutrients for its development. It will respire. There will be exchange of gases and also it will excrete. Okay. So all these processes are carried out by means of this placenta. Okay. So next. So if these function has to carried out means, so what is necessary means circulation is necessary. So circulatory system is must. So the heart develops during 4th week of pregnancy. So thus it circulates the blood through the umbilical cord and placenta and also through its own tissues. So among the fetus also, inside the fetus also, this heart helps to circulate the blood. Thereby, these functions are fulfilled. The nutritive, respiratory and excretory functions are fulfilled through this placenta. So next we are going to see about embryonic development. So how the embryonic development occur inside the mother's womb. So already we learned that the blastocyst is converted into gastrula. Actually gastrula is a 3-layered structure. That means it possesses 3 germ layers. That's what are they? Ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. So these germ layers act as a primitive tissues. That means it is a first formed tissue. So that from these tissue only all the body organs develop. Okay, now we are going to see about from which germ layer what are the different types of organs develop. So first ectoderm. From ectoderm, the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system means brain and spinal cord. And peripheral nervous system, all the nerves, and the epiderm is the skin. Okay, and its derivative, that is hair, nails, etc. Okay, and then mammary glands. So these are the organs developed from ectoderm. And next mesoderm. So mesoderm gives rise to connective tissues, cartilage and bones. Then muscles, organs of urinogenital system. So what are the organs present in urinogenital system means kidney, ureter and gonads. Gonads means reproductive structures. Okay. So all these are developed from mesoderm. Then endoderm. So here the endoderm give rise to epithelium of gastrointestinal tract, respiratory tract, liver, pancreas, thyroid, parathyroid. These organs are developed from endoderm. Next, we are going to see about the gestation period. For the development of fetus, the full development of the entire development of fetus needs to 280 days, 280 days or 40 weeks. So that period is called as gestation period. Okay. So for our convenience, this gestation period is divided into 3 trimesters. So 3 trimesters possess 3 months each. Each trimester possess 3 months. Okay. So here first we are going to see about the first trimesters. So what are the changes? What are the development occur? What are the development occur during first trimesters? So here the first trimester is main period of organogenesis. So during the first trimester only all the different types of organs develop. So mainly the body organ like heart, limbs, lungs, liver and external genital organs. These organs are well developed during first trimester. Okay. So what about the second trimester means So by the end of the second trimester, the face is well formed. Okay. So you can see the eyelids, eyelashes, and you can see the blinking of the fetal eyes. Then the body is covered by fine hairs. Then muscle tissues are well developed and the bones become harder during the end of second trimester. By the end of second trimester, you can see all these changes. And the third trimester, the fetus is fully developed and the fetus is ready to deliver by the end of third trimesters. Okay. So next we are going to see about, so what are the hormones secreted during the pregnancy and what are its role? Okay. So during pregnancy, so already we saw that placenta acts as the temporary endocrine gland. Okay. So what are the, so at the time of pregnancy, it produces large amount of hormones. So they are human chorionic gonadotrophin, human chorionic somatomammotrophine. So the other name for this hormone is human placental lactogen, estrogen, progesterone. So why these number of hormones are secreted during pregnancy means these hormones are essential for normal pregnancy. That means for the normal development of fetus, it needs all these hormones. Okay, so along with this, the placenta also secrete another hormone that is called as relaxin. So actually relaxin secrete during the late phase of pregnancy. So usually it started to secrete at the third trimester. Okay, so what is the function of this relaxin is, it helps in the relaxation of pelvic ligament, mainly at the time of parturition. That means at the time of childbirth. And so all these hormones are produced only during pregnancy. Okay. And the hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine. So these hormones increased several folds in the maternal blood. The mother's blood, the hormonal level of these hormones are more during pregnancy. So from this we can understand that these hormones are very, very essential for the fetal growth. Okay, so these hormones support the fetal growth. So okay students, so next video we can learn about parturition and lactation. Thank you.